Anyway, I just want to move on here. So the it's more of the X stuff that I could think of off the top of my head was we talked about X rays, but also like X rays, like maybe raising the cross. You have the St. Andrew's cross. If you raised it, it would be like the T or whatever. Who knows? Just wanted to put that in there because this flag is in lots of movies in the background. I know it's in Teen Wolf and Back to the Future. I believe Elijah Wood is even wearing a shirt like this when he's playing the Wild Gunman game. It's not the exact St. Andrew's cross, but it is a white cross on a blue shirt or whatever. You know, and a lot of this has to do with Scottish Rite Freemasonry. Interesting, the word Scottish equals 113, just like Kobe Bryant, just like Michael Jordan. Who knows? I'm gonna have to go back and look at my notes like I wrote in here, but also, you got skull and crossbones. They make the X and whatnot. I was also thinking about lots of train symbolism this year with the Philadelphia train wreck, and there was the train wreck in Vermont. Just had the German train wreck. There was the train wreck the day after the Paris attacks. Just lots of coding to trains. And Back to the Future. Marty comes back to the future because the train pushes the DeLorean. Then Doc Brown comes, and then the DeLorean gets destroyed by a train, and then Doc Brown comes back in the train time machine. Jared from Subway went to jail this year. The movie Trainwreck. Tons of other stuff with it. The Roseburg, one of the guys that was in the saved the French people on the train was also from Roseburg, Oregon. I mean, it's just insane. Also, it was interesting. I was thinking about the letter X. Females are XX chromosome, male is XY. Also, like humans have 46 chromosomes, just like Chicago equals 46. They won Super Bowl XX. So interesting. I don't know if it has something to do with female. Jimmy Carter and George Bush are also both born in 1924. They're both 91 years old. Jimmy Carter even turned 91 on the day of the Roseburg, Oregon shooting on 10/1 with 91 days left until the end of the year. Lots of 80 coding around him as well. His nephew or grandson died 80 days after this on a date, December 20th. It adds up to 80. It was the same day as the 80 contestants in the Miss Universe pageant. The word Bryant actually adds up to 80 as well. Also interesting, the Hebrew Bible. It's also called, I think that's pronounced Tanakh, or I don't know for sure, but whatever. This right here, it has 24 books in it. The first 5 are the Moses books or whatever. So interesting. If you write out Hebrew Bible in gematria, it equals 91 and 55. If you write out this word, it adds up to 55 and 19, like 91 and 19. The mirrors both add up to 55. The word Satan adds up to 55. The Broncos were even established 55 years ago. John Elway is 55 years old. There was lots of 55 coding a while back, right around the time that Kobe Bryant announced his retirement even. The day that he announced his retirement was the 333rd day of the year, and Philadelphia's 333 days after Philadelphia turned 333. The date numerology was added up to 55. The word retirement equals 55. Kobe finished the game with an air ball. Air ball equals 55. Kobe also a Philadelphia native. Tons of stuff with it. So the word 50, if you write out the word 55, it adds up to 56. Paris, France equals 56. ISIS equals 56. Osama bin Laden equals 56. Saddam Hussein equals 56. Adolf Hitler equals 56. Died in April, that adds up to 56. He was 56. The Declaration of Independence was signed by 56 signers, the first being John Hancock, who died at the age of 56. Abe Lincoln died at the age of 56 in the year 65, also in April, and also in Washington, D.C., that adds up to 56. Tons of 56 coding. Also interesting, I seen this when I was just searching the number 24. I found this series here called 24, and it made me think of 24 hours in a day, and that's what they actually do in this. Like all the episodes are like called like 12 a.m. to 1 a.m. or whatever. They're just that's how they're named because they have a timer that went through the whole commercials and everything for every hour to make it 24 or whatever. And they did 24 hours, 24 episodes every season to make it the 24 hours for the 24 or whatever. Just interesting. The first episode was supposed to come out October 31st of 2001, but it didn't because of the September 11th attacks. It ended up coming out 1 week later. I don't know what the difference was really. And it was in October. It wasn't like it was like, on the weekend of September 11th or something, but whatever. It came out 56 days after 9/11. And look at what the first episode was actually about. It takes place at the day of the California presidential primary. Interesting, the Super Bowl was in California. The 12th time it was in California. Tons of other stuff, but the episode is about this black guy who is running for president, and he's going to become the first African American president of the United States. But the whole point is that he's being targeted for an assassination. I mean, seriously. I don't know how many times we've talked about Barack Obama and the upcoming assassination of Barack Obama. Tons of race war stuff in the news. They've coded JFK. Also, they've coded lots of Civil War. Abraham Lincoln. They had the theater shootings. Abraham Lincoln died in a theater. I also want to point out that he died with a Philadelphia Derringer. There's just lots of coding to Philadelphia. Obama even named the turkeys on Thanksgiving Honest and Abe. I mean, just ridiculous. So, whatever, gonna end it right there. Just interesting they're doing an X theme now. Not sure of the complete significance of it, but it just reminds me of last year when they did the whole gray theme. You had 50 Shades of Grey that came out in Black History Month. Even the Gray Sports Almanac from 2015 and Back to the Future. Freddie Gray died on the same day that the Civil War ended. He was arrested on the same day that the Civil War began. They killed off the Patrick Dempsey's character on Grey's Anatomy. They even killed off Amanda Peterson in real life, the girl who he loved in the movie Can't Buy Me Love, which also just so happens to have an all-black version remake called Love Don't Cost a Thing with Nick Cannon. It also, in the Civil War, it was the Confederates wore the gray coats, different shades of gray because they couldn't afford to dye their uniforms. But yeah, I guess we'll see where it leads, see if the X stuff keeps popping up, and have a good night.